All right, so let's all get seated and then we'll start with the. And you're very welcome to the British Council here in Accra, where we're bringing you official Ubuntu launch program. Lots of questions asked. People trying to find out what exactly the Ubuntu launch is all about. It will be revealed here pretty shortly. Let's all take our seats, relax, and then we will kickstart with the program. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for your presence. We are very grateful to have all of you here. Mixed culture, mixed race, watching all of you from the days tells me that we are all ready for this event. Once again, you're very welcome for Dreams. Moving on to Ubuntu launch. We will be explaining all that in just a couple of minutes. But let's start off first with the opening prayer. As it is in our culture, would like to dedicate this program to the Almighty God. We ask for His blessings. We ask for His favor. We ask for His understanding. We ask for His love. We ask for His mercy. So without further ado, I'd like to invite to the microphone for the opening prayer Mr. Ebenezer Amankwa. If you're here, kindly join me here. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much, Prince. Shall we pray? Father, we thank you for this opportunity. It's a hallowed opportunity. We do not take it for granted at all. This evening we pray that you come and control every activity, every behavior, every action, every gesture, every thought, every direction, every scenario. We pray that you would lead it. Let this platform this evening transform minds. Let it shape our thinking, perceptions, our behavior, our outlook on life, and our commitment to nation building, economic growth and progress. Let today be a defining moment for all of us. Let this platform live on in our minds and in our memories. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Ebenezer. Good to see you. I've not seen you in ages. That voice has been missing on radio. But thank you very much, Ebenezer, for opening prayer. That sets the tone for what exactly we're here to do. We'll be explaining to you in a few minutes the concept and how it came about. Got speakers who are also going to be addressing key issues, or some of the issues that may probably bugging in your minds. We would want to leave here knowing that we have started to build certain relationships between those who may not have had the opportunity to learn to the highest level and what they can do after life on the sporting field or their sports endeavor. So once again, let's all be calm, let's relax. We'll have the opening remarks very shortly, and this opening remarks is going to be given by one who knows it all, because he has been one of the frontiers, how this started, how all this emanated. Three brothers who saw the plight of what their other brothers and sisters were going through, and they decided that they are going to put their shoulders to the wheel to ensure that they make a better tomorrow for those who have it today. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the podium Mr. Barak Akwabua, the Vice President of Soccer for Dreamers and a co-founder with his brothers Jed and Caden. So Barak will be telling us a lot more about this whole concept, what has gone into it. We will further hear further explanations thereof, exactly what this means, those who may not have had opportunity. But for gentlemen like him, his brothers and others, they have been blessed. so much blessed that in their hearts, deepest of hearts, they would want to give back to society. Let's put our hands together for Barack.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the launch of Ubuntu Online Academy. I'd like to thank all of you for coming together and those watching on the live stream who couldn't make it today for supporting our initiative. I'm sure most of you know that the reason my two brothers, Jed, Caden, and I started our initial organization, Soccer for Dreamers, was because we realized that talented players, less fortunate than us, lacked the facilities they needed to make it to the professional level. Last year, we will be able to make that happen by collecting donations in America and giving them out to 10 teams in Ghana, both boys and girls, in the greater Accra region. This year, we went to the eastern region, Chibi, and the central region, Winneba, where we donated new and slightly used soccer equipment to teams in those regions. The reception we got was warm, and it was amazing to see the smiles on the players' faces when receiving the gear. While those two events were exhilarating, we want these players to excel off the football pitch as much as they already do on the pitch. Ubuntu Online Academy allows these players to do just that, because they can learn how to become great people outside the football pitch by understanding tools like how to dress for a job, how to act during an interview, and how to financially handle their money. I believe that Ubuntu could be the future for not only footballers in Ghana, but all of Ghana's youth. And all of you are at the forefront of this initiative. So please, relax and enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barack Akwaba. That's the Vice President of the Soccer for Dreamers, together with his two brothers, Jed and Caden. Thought about this to ensure that they give back to the society what they've gone through as young footballers. They are blazing the trail wherever they are with the Red Bull Soccer Academy. Sure that in no time we're going to be hearing about the success story of these brothers. Because of that success, there are other colleagues, there are other brothers and sisters dotted around this country will also benefit from the largesse of this family. Once again, let's put our hands together for Barack and the family. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a brief sketch by the Village Minds production, which will further drive home the purpose of our gathering. One of the reasons we're doing this is that as much as possible, we want you to feel comfortable, feel relaxed, and also understand clearly the initiative and the drive behind the Ubuntu Online Academy, which we'll be launching very soon. Easier for us to do it this way so you further understand, and then for clarity purposes, can also pass on the story from one end to the other. So if we're ready, let's have the sketch by the Ubuntu sketch, that is, by the Village Minds production. Tell us a lot more about why we're here today. Thank you.
We are going to send you this. We are going to send you that.
Even if they sell the whole country and they give you the whole money, it will not be enough. Look at your stomach. Unemployed youth, look at your stomach. Hey, please, where is my 6 months rent? Where? You don't have. Hey, you are discussing. Shut up. You want to discuss in my house? You think here is GTV? Discussion arena. You want to discuss? Who taught you that? See, if you don't give me my money today, I have had enough of you two lazy buffoons. You useless, unemployment youth with no bright future. I said what I said. If I take you, will you beat me? Beat me. Beat me. Beat me.
No,
Thanks.
we don't beat you. That's why I won't mind.
Hey, mind me. Mind me. Who do you think you are? Small. Pay me. If it is small, pay me. Where's the other one? All you know how to do is to eat. You don't have money, but you're always eating.
What is it?
Hey. You are rehearsing for what? TikTok challenge. The world is not challenging enough for you. You want to add TikTok challenge to your own challenge. My dear, where is my 3 months rent? Where is my money? I have taken it very easy. Yeah, I know. Me too. Let's pray. It's not easy, eh?
What do you think I'm a TikTok?
You are talking. What is influencing you to influence? My rent should influence you enough. Huh? What is the meaning of Kazi? Get your Kazi-led bodies out of my house. I am done with you people. Hurry up! Hey, Miss Ghana, Tara Banks, come here. Come here. You. Go and tell your father that I am tired of him. I am very I don't have any patience. You know me. Go, you are a beggar. You are a beggar. Go and tell your father that he should give me my 7 months salary. Why? Rent. Why? You are pleasing. Get out of my face. Alongo Springy. Yeah, good afternoon. What is it? You are after him. Are you here to arrest them? Yeah.
Oh, dumb.
You have been calling him. Yes, please, you should be calling him. He is owing me rent. I came here right now to come and tell him that he should pay my rent. And they were shouting at me. They want to beat me. I thought he said he would take me to rent control. As if they can control me. You should look at me, you can control me. You talk to him to come and pay my rent.
What's wrong?
Charlie, hot and crown. Small rent. This woman go there. Yay. What's all? What do you have to say for this guy?
Well, it's very sad. It's because I have been trying to get in touch with you and I'm not getting you.
Charlie, no be me. 8 years for this country. Man finish school, no job. 2 PhDs on my head. But the person I no get.
If I say that I don't understand you, I'm telling lies. I really do understand you. It was this same dilemma that I was in when I was about to graduate from the university. As a first class graduate like you should get job. But then...
My guy, first class no be steal. You know be steal. Which kind of first class?
I understand you. You see, when I was graduating, this was the same dilemma I was in. How to get the job, and even if I get the job, how I'm going to talk for the interview. Like all these things was just too much. But I met this lady who introduced me to this online platform. Yes.
Online academy.
Oh, yes. See, this online academy opened my mind and groomed me very well. How to answer questions, what to say, how to posture myself. Like, Charlie, let him be real. I kid you not, bro.
How do you get? What is, Charlie? How you go reach there? I want to know.
You let her teach you more about the online platform.
Okay.
Well, hi. So yes, just like he said, all we are going to do is to take you through mock interviews before you go for the actual interview. Now, I believe you take the same CV for every interview you go for, right? No. It's not supposed to be so. Now, this academy is going to help you put together interview for every single interview you're supposed to do. Your CV is going to be direct.
Madam, wait. Is it not the same interview questions they ask?
Yes.
Is it not the same answers you give them?
Yes.
Let me not catch you there. Let me not catch you there. Yes, you may think they are the same, but they are not the same. I mean, how would you answer how you're going to manage a project for an oil company the same way you answer how you're going to
sell the
manage a project? Exactly. You see, they are two different things entirely.
True.
Now, this is where this academy comes in, okay? They are going to take you through mock sessions. They are going to teach you how to dress for your interview, how to position yourself, your body posture when you're answering questions, and they even give you certain questions you should ask at the end of your interview.
I see.
Very good.
Yes, some of you don't even know you have.
At interviews,
You get nervous.
Yeah.
Don't worry. After we take you through our mock sessions, you'll be so confident that you wouldn't even feel anything at your interview. Trust me on that.
Oh, Jam is very real. Just look at me. It's
Please, is it free?
My sister, it is very, very much free. We don't take a peso from anyone.
What's the name of it?
In fact, take your phones out right now. Log on to Ubuntu.
Madam, we are looking for the rent. We are looking for the rent.
So Ubuntu Online Academy.org.
Hello and welcome to Ubuntu Online Academy tutorial on how to use the platform. Go to www.ubuntuonlineacademy.com. When you get there, it will show you all of the courses we have available at the moment. Then you can look around, explore it, decide which one works for you, which one you need to enroll for. Remember, Ubuntu Online Academy is brought to you by Soccer for Dreamers. You click on any of the ones you need to enroll for. So let's say it's 10 keys to successful job interview in Africa, or it's apprenticeship 101. And you can look through it, scroll down, explore the course, see if it's the one you're looking for or fits your need. Then once you get to the bottom of the page, you will find where it says it's free because it's sponsored by Soccer for Dreamers. Then you will click on enroll. Once you click on enroll, it will give you the option to type in your name. For the purpose of this tutorial, it will be testing 2. That's not your name. Then you enter your email address. For the purpose of tutorial is testing at ubuntuonlineacademy.org. So take your time, make sure you put in the right email address because this will be your login into your course going forward. After you do that, you will pick a password that works for you, something you can remember. And you want to say yes so we can send you email on other things we have available for you. After you click sign up, it will say thank you thing. Then you can start your course immediately. You didn't have to pay anything. This one is Introduction to Business in Africa. And then voila, you are in, and your journey with Ubuntu Online Academy begins with just a single email address. That's all you need. The only thing you need to be part of this great learning community is an email address, access to internet, and you'll be empowered to make a difference, whether it is a business you are starting or a job interview you're preparing for or some healthcare hygiene tips you need. All of it will be available to you on Ubuntu Online Academy, free of charge, provided by Soccer for Dreamers. Welcome and have fun. Soccer for Dreamers. Yeah, Damasi.
Thank you, Soccer for Dreamers. Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Wow. Adi, hey, I feel you, brother. This man, they say they chop, eh? Let's put our hands together for them once again. The interesting part was the plan. Was but I'm sure you all loved interpretation. Hello? Okay. I'm sure we all loved the interpretation of what happened, and I was telling my senior colleague that after all the fuss, who knows the song they sang at the end? Anybody? Oh, none of you grew up in Ghana. Yokoyashi Kelewele, Africa. That's what they were singing. So I was wondering, what's the relationship? Anyway, thank you very much. At least that sketch has set the tone for a clearer understanding of why Ubuntu for the online academy. We'll be talking a lot more about that. We definitely would need to get into some form of chit-chat, some form of discussion into the Ubuntu, the reason or the brain behind, the targets. And mind you, it's not only open for university graduates, as it were. It's for you and I. We can all benefit from this online program. And so we'll be having a brief chat. We're going to have a 45-minute discussion on this, and we're all part of it. We all need to channel in the resource to make this the best. Because one of the few things I realized over the last couple of days is that Soccer for Dreamers actually started out of nothing. Out of nothing. But for the love that 3 young gentlemen had, ably supported by their parents. Today, Soccer for Dreamers is worldwide. We all have Android phones or iOS phones, so if you go online, Soccer for Dreamers is there, and you get to learn a lot more about the passion, the dedication, and the commitment. It's what you and I need, and it's in everyday life. That passion must be there so that you are dedicated to commit yourself to hitting a certain target and a certain goal. I am particularly happy that we've got some of our young sportsmen and women here. We've got volleyballers. I've seen a few footballers. I've seen cyclists here. And it cuts across. It's not just for those who've gone to the university. It's not only for those who have been looking for jobs for 8 years and they are not getting it. Maybe we're doing something fundamentally wrong. Ubuntu is here to solve that problem. And so without further ado, let's get into a little bit of the chit-chat. Before we do that, let me kindly invite the moderator for this segment of the launch, Mr. Inshira Ado. Inshira, are you here? Kindly join me here. And let's put our hands together for Inshira as he comes up. And he will be leading us through this segment and also educating us on what we should know, what we should do. If we can take a cue from 3 young men, ably supported by mom and dad, it means Ubuntu can send us beyond a certain threshold, beyond a certain limit. Opportunity for those who may not have had it earlier on. That opportunity is going to be unveiled today. But what is it going to take for us to get to that level? It's going to take dedication. It's going to take hard work. We need to commit ourselves to what we do. We may have reached a certain height or a certain level in our chosen fields of endeavor, but we ask ourselves, is that all? Are we content? Don't we want to go beyond? At the age of 4, 3 young men started playing football. But they no longer play football as 4-year-olds. They play football as adults. Why? Because they've gone there. They are living that dream, and they want to live beyond that dream. And so, ladies and gentlemen, put it in your heart and let's bear a thought and a mind to this. That to us, anything and everything is possible. We are being shown one of the few ways. Ubuntu is the name. Let's not forget that. Thank you very much. Ishra, take over from here.
Thank you very much, my brother. And good evening to every one of you. I think congratulations to the Akwaboa is definitely in order. I won't be doing this by myself. I will be joined by a few individuals who have a story to tell, and they also have something to bring to bear on why Ubuntu Online Academy is such an important intervention, and how we can all help make it even bigger a success than the launch. Now, I would like to invite Phyllis Addo, who is a co-founder, a CEO with a strong background in public health, nutrition, and extensive experience in research and project management. She holds a PhD in nutrition and food security from the Sichuan University's West China School of Public Health. And prior to the doctoral studies, she earned a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Science and a Master of Philosophy in Nutrition from the University of Ghana's Nutrition and Science Department. Now, currently, she serves as a lecturer in Public Health Nutrition and at the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Department of Family and Community Health. Ladies and gentlemen, in essence, I'm introducing you to an individual who has great passion for promoting sustainable, healthy diets and generally helping us all live better and brighter lives. Let's welcome Phyllis Addo. Now, I also have been struck by the story of a young man who I'll be telling you about in a moment. But before then, let's welcome the current Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, a man who has extensive experience in global business and finance, currently sits as a board chair for one of the independent power producers in the country. He's worked with Fortune 500 organizations, as well as a Canada Stock Exchange listed company, extensive business knowledge and expertise. Mr. Mark Addo. And I also would like to call on, sorry, my notes are just all over the place, which is usually not. So I'd like to call on Henry Kateboel Kanse. Henry has dreams of being a medical doctor, but after financial difficulty made that difficult, he has since joined a team of freelancers, and the bid is to be able to raise money and go back to school and become a medical doctor. Let's give him a round of applause as he joins us. Now I think that is my panel. Okay, so there's an updated panel. Just give me a second. So this conversation essentially is going to help us understand the place of sports in our lives and how we can ensure that we have a number of people in our lives on our path as we follow our passions and our dreams. And it gives us a backdrop against which the Ubuntu Online Academy is set up and what it seeks to achieve. I'd like to call on Mrs. Stella Janine Boating. She's an HR professional and a consultant and former deputy CEO of VRA. Let's welcome her, please. I'm particularly excited about the fact that Auntie Stella is joining us for this conversation. And I would like to start off, you're all welcome, by the way. Thank you. I would like to start off first with you, Auntie Stella. As an HR professional of many decades of practice, where do you find the biggest gap between the aspirations of graduates and young people and what you look for in the workplace?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Inshura, for that. I think that when I was watching the skit, it was quite exciting because these are some of the things that usually go around. But basically, in the HR space, and when people are looking for jobs or trying to get jobs, it's important for us to understand that what we study in school is very, very key, but it only prepares us sometimes to write our exams and to make it, and to come with certificates and fly them around and feel good. That is great, because a lot of people think that all you need to be successful at what you do is getting the first class, the second class, or whatever it is, or going through school. But actually, what I find as a gap that we need to continuously work on, it's what we will call the soft skills, or the areas that are not necessarily taught as subject areas in school, but which are very, very critical in trying to grow or develop your career. We are talking about areas like, self-discipline. We're talking about things like attitude, mindset. You're talking about even time consciousness. We are talking about, research abilities, how you work in teams with other people, understanding the diversity in any new environment that you find yourself, and very importantly, understanding the business to which you want to work in, and having a passion for that. I think in the skit, there was something about people go for interviews, or they find jobs, but at the point of even interview, they have no clue as to what the business for which they are interviewing or the role for which they are interviewing is about. Because everything is generalized. I carry my CVs around, at the press of the button, I hear there is a vacancy here or people are going for interviews, and then I send it. Without recourse to what role is available, how am I researching into that role, what is it that will be expected of me, and how do I build my knowledge base? So there is a combination of your technical skills, where you are taught in school as this is the theory, and how your ability to actually, match or align the theory to practice and build yourself as an individual in terms of all the soft skills to be able to beat the competition, because whether we like it or not, it is a competitive environment today when it comes to job search. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Phyllis, I'd like to you to waiting at this point and share with us your perspective on finding talent. When you co-founded RIMA, where did you look? How did you look? What did you find? And how that put you in the stead you are now.
Thank you for the question, and good evening to everyone. Yes, when we started our business is fairly young. We are in solar business, and solar is quite a male-dominated business. So we had few challenges recruiting even females. There are so many times we've made deliberate efforts to include more females in what we do. We advertise, we give them so many opportunities. You put the advert out there, about 100 applicants, and you still have only a few females. Even if you call them, sometimes they never show up. So it's a real challenge. Sometimes the opportunities are there, but even getting the people to take up these opportunities is very difficult. One of the other things is I see with, and it's okay to be in an area where you have security, you have stability, you get very good work benefit, but for very small businesses, and it's very comparable to young talent or a footballer looking for a coach, because you don't have the brand name, and you have very huge competitors out there. Usually people don't want to associate themselves. And for very young businesses, the other challenge is that there is more work to be done because it's more growth focused. For established businesses, sometimes you already have the brand name, and most young people, I won't say, if I say that I'm being biased, but I'll say people like to be in very comfortable places. They don't like to be challenged. So when you put them in such businesses, going the extra mile is very difficult for them. And that's one of the things we see. People are not willing to go the extra mile. You give them, and then the ability to even adapt. Like Madam said, you have soft skills. They are translating, they are skills you can translate anywhere, regardless of the background. My specialty is in the health field, but I run a solar business, and I'm doing great. I do national tenders, and I'm winning tenders, doing things for institutions, because I learned to adapt. I saw there was a gap. We don't have a lot of women in that space, and being there as a woman alone gives me an opportunity. So for now, this is what I would say. People need to be more, they should be able to take up more challenge, and then to be able to adapt and take initiative skills. Very problem we've had with some of our staff. They always want you to come back to them to tell them what to do. So if you are not there, nothing is done. Till you come, they call everything they need to call and follow up. We need young talent who take a lot of initiative, because that's one of the things that sets people apart.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Phyllis. Henry, I would like for you to share with us, as a freelancer, what are some of the jobs that you have had interesting and recognized that you didn't have the requisite skill or the experience to undertake, and how you've handled that?
Thank you very much, and good evening. So, like the intro said, I was initially inclined to health. I got into the medical school, but I couldn't keep up with the fees, so I had to drop out. But Taft College is actually a school for people who aim to be freelancers on the African continent. And I'm studying real estate, which I never thought I could. I mean, I thought it was a brick and mortar. Before, my mind was, it was a brick and mortar thing. It's only about getting sand, getting the land, and then building up a structure. But TAF has broadened up my horizon, and they are helping me adapt to the market as a whole. I mean, I used to think real estate also had a similar market everywhere else. But I got into TAF, and now I see that there are niches in the market for even different places in Africa as a whole. So that's how I'm adapting and getting held with the business.
Now, Mark, I saved you for last because, I mean, I don't know how many Ghanaians, well, I have one at work, even though she says she supports Arsenal, but doesn't like talking about football. We all love football. Every once in a while, our hearts get broken, and sometimes we celebrate. But from your experience in corporate world and also running the GFA, where do you see the transferable skills from sport into the world of work?
Thank you, and Mr. Ado. Good evening. First of all, I mean, I came to this. I spoke to Sylvia a couple of days ago, and prior to that, I've spoken to the president, who was supposed to be here, but he couldn't make it, so he asked me to come and represent. To your question, I think this is one of those moments where, in my line of work, in business, where I will be a little more biased towards the football, but I get the benefit of working with all kinds of people, or or hiring all kinds of people in my past life and current. So I get a sense of what the business world is looking for in context. But I also am very familiar recruiting footballers in my club, and from the footballer standpoint, you are dealing with people who are just finished high school compared to corporate where you're dealing with people who have college education. They all have their challenges, okay? But just let me focus a little bit on the football side, just to give you a proper context. For example, I just recruited a young kid. He was, I think he's about 15, 16. And I asked him, so what was your grade at SS? He said, the lowest grade I had was C, only one C. The rest was more A's and B's. So I've been thinking, what do I do to stimulate this guy's brain when he's not trained? He's a phenomenal player. But how do I stimulate his mind, the time that he has when he's not actually actively playing football? So I've been thinking last couple of days, it was just by, I guess, divine intervention when Lucy Chris called me about this. And so I said, this is time, it's incredible because such module by Soccer for Dreamers, this kid can then have access to some of these basic life skills to develop maybe how to interview, how to put together a resume, maybe how to even, if he's interested in, let's say, coding, if there's a model for coding, he can learn how to code. I mean, there's been so many stories of big athletes and footballers who've made millions of dollars. The biggest one is Mike Tyson, made over $400 million. When he got to 10 million, that's when he filed for bankruptcy. And there have been so many stories out there, footballers who have made millions of dollars, and in the end, filed for bankruptcy. So I think it's having these two basic life skills, especially online, for them to have access to and learn the basics of life in whatever dimension that you look at. You know, I can go on either communications. There have been good stories of footballers in Ghana. Let me give a few examples. Like Sami Kufuor has been very successful. You look at Chipsa has been a football agent. Kojo Samoa is working with Maximo in building an academy. There have been a lot of positive and very resourceful individuals who have made something out of football. But like I said, the little that they pick up now, if they can build on it, continue to build on it through these modules or through other networks where they can build their capacity, to go a long way. I mean, look, you have footballs who can't even read their contract because they have signed their contract to their agent. So we don't know who knows. They end up going bankrupt because who knows what the agent is doing. So just these basic modules will go a long way to at least build the foundation for a successful career.
About a decade ago, the World Economic Forum put out what I like to call the 4 C's. I'm sure that's what they are called by everyone. Creativity, collaboration, critical thinking. I think the fourth one is communication. And these are things that, from the little education I have received, is not typically taught in formal education. But borrowing from my own personal experience, having played semi-professional football for a bit, you do recognize that even though there's, at any given point in time, unless an expulsion from the game, there are 22 players on the team. There are probably another 50 in the back room that make it possible. How do you see a platform like Ubuntu and the work that Soccer for Dreamers is doing, lending some help or a platform for young people to be able to learn and transfer the skills from sport into everyday life? And I want to start with you, Ansela.
Okay. So just as you said, it's about learning and transferring what you learn to the world of, the world that we live in. And so if you take Ubuntu and what we are doing, basically it is building the capacity of young and old to be able to be resilient and to be agile at the same time, to understand the dynamics of life and how those things that they learn out there could be practiced, in the world, as it were. There are people who learn and think that learning or whatever they learn should not be transferable unless they see a similar or same situation. But that is not what it is today. Whatever you study, whether in school, whether through online, you must have that critical mind to say that how can this, relate to another situation that is totally different from what examples I have been taught. And so you need that critical mind to question yourself, the critical mind that is so curious enough to ask questions. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people, young people, who will not ask questions. What they hear, what they see is enough. And that is not a critical mind. Again, we are talking about innovation. Innovation is not about the big things. It's not about, building a machine today. It's not about turning the world upside down and, reinventing it. It's about the little things every day. That I did it like this today. This was the result I had. Why don't I try to do it this other way and see whether I'll get better results? If I don't, then it means that I may need to rethink. So the ability to rethink and be disciplined enough to rethink. Again, there are people who feel, especially, again, young people who think that it's about talent. Yes, so there are a lot of people, and virtually everybody has a talent. But talent in itself does not translate to career success. Talent without the necessary, additions that we've talked about, your critical thinking, your creativity, your innovation, your communication, your discipline. And I always stress on discipline because it doesn't matter who you are and how good you are. If you are not disciplined, the train will leave you. And so when you are disciplined, you are able to bring all these together and you realize that there is a link, a synergy between the theory and practice. And that is when you are able to make a step and have a competitive edge over and above others who may have sat in the same class, gone through the same program with you, and are asking themselves, why not us? And that is where, I'm sorry, but that is where sometimes we come to the point of, oh, it's about whom you know. If I don't have this background, if I didn't go to this school, if my father doesn't have this name, and we rather give ourselves excuses that do not help us to move a step forward. And so those are some of the things that we need to do to transfer the skills in the classroom or online to our very, lives daily. Thank you.
Great. I'm just going to jump at you, Henry, at this point. Now, you've made a detour on your... I'm not sure which one. You've made a detour on your way to being a medical doctor. You're in a space that is totally different from what you imagined. How did you adapt? What are the things you have learned that you didn't learn in school, but by joining TAF?
Thank you once again. I'm really grateful for TAF actually, because, and mind you, TAF is tuition free for anyone, regardless of where you come from. Yeah, but they helped us in adaptation in ways I didn't even imagine. We were taking courses in time management, in leadership, in critical thinking, and I think business law and financial. So all these things put together actually made us help with the transformation faster than I imagined. Because going in, I didn't think it would be easy. I was inclined to the sciences and all that, and I was expecting it to be the same when I came here with mathematics and physics, but it was not. It was not. But they helped us adapt in a, I would call it a blink of an eye. It was a really quick adaptation for me.
Brilliant stuff. Now, Phyllis, Mark, I know you're itching to jump in. We're going to open the floor in about 3 minutes, so I'm going to take quick answers for these next two questions. Now, Phyllis, you work with a bunch of different people from different backgrounds. You're inclined to empower more women. how are they able to assimilate with others? And by observing them, what are some of the things you're realizing that you cannot teach this? These are things that a person's own will can only help them develop.
All right. So I'll take this from where Madam ended. She said something, people complain, oh, you know, oh, you don't know. But we know that in our world today, networking is everything. So putting yourself, and even the visibility, putting yourself out there. If you have a young talent, if you are a young person and you are talented, and people don't know you have the talent, who finds you? So I'm very happy about the Ubuntu platform because it gives people the opportunity to even network, gives people the opportunity to be visible. And for most of us, from the backgrounds we came from, we struggled with, I would say, confidence. We didn't have so much confidence, and we had to deliberately break out of that. I see a lot of young girls suffer this. They've grown up in settings where women, or even in the sporting arena, there are some sports that if you're a woman and you try venturing, a lot of criticism from people, you don't get a support system. It takes a very strong-willed person to say, I'm going to do this. So I would say that as young ladies here who are aspiring to go up higher in the sporting arena, you need to be strong-willed, and you need to build a lot of networks. In fact, excuses today, I had every good reason not to be here because there is no nanny to take care of my kids. I just came back to town to see my family, but I took the opportunity to be here because I know if I'm here, I'm going to inspire somebody, I'm going to meet somebody I can talk to. Mm-hmm. So it's about time we move out of our comfort zones and go for the things we want. And go for, there is a lot of, when I was talking about my business, I'm sure most of the reason why a lot of young females are not coming into the solar field is the skill gap. They feel they don't have enough skills to even do it. So what we do in our business, we employ a lot of young graduates, we engage a lot of interns where we train them, and then they can also gain these skills and they could go out and deliver better. So yes, I think girls should go out more. Young people should push themselves out of their comfort zone, build strong networks, and then get all the support they need around them too.
Great. Now, Mark, again, let's stay football biased. You own a club. They're trained. Young people are developed into world-beating talent. But it doesn't only stay on the field. How important is it to have complementary education for people playing sports or learning to play sports?
It is so important. Hello. It is so important. Hello. It is so important. I can tell you this. I had the opportunity to visit a German premier club, and I was speaking to the sporting director. We spent all day together on development of footballers and all that. And he said to me, when a player comes for trials, they spend 3 weeks, which I think, I thought it was quite unusual because most instances, after 1 week, maybe a week and a half, the club 2 weeks. He said, no. We not only look at their technical ability and their tactical ability, but we also test them psychologically. We also want to see how they relate to people. Will they smile? Football is a very lonely business. Once you train, you go to your room, and that's the end of it, and you come back the next day. So psychologically, if they are not really tough or they can adapt to those environments, cold environment, wet, dry, how would they behave or how are they going to react? Sometimes it's not just the football, but it's their mindset. If you lose the mind, forget the football. And a lot of footballers have failed because of that, because they never got used to that or not exposed to some of this. So psychologically, it's so important. But a life skill, and I'll give you a good example. I always say this, that even when I talk to my technical guys and they are trying to recruit players, I tell them, I'm not so interested so much sometimes on getting a player who has 90% technical skills.
I'd rather have a player who has 65% technical skills and another 65 or 70% tactical skills. And then we have the physical aspect of it. For me, that's 140 or 150 compared to 90 plus 1, which gives me 100. So those players are more, and I can give you so many examples of footballers who have become very successful because of that. They are smart enough, because you want a player who can learn. And I will say this to the footballers as well as young people out there. There's nothing wrong about learning. I learn all the time. Every time I'm learning new things. And I'm not saying that I'm not the smartest guy. I always want to surround myself with people who are a lot more smarter than me, because I can learn more from them. And to me, that's the mentality, the curiosity to learn new things. And so this is an opportunity. And look, GFA, we had set up the Ghana Football School in collaboration with the KNUST, GIMPA, UPSA, the Sunyani Technical Center, and the China European International Business School. And they have, the idea once again is to give access to people who are interested in the football administration or football coaching or anything, even administration, just learning the basics of the game or basis of becoming successful in any endeavor. So this is another platform that we can collaborate, or we plan to collaborate with, and extend the value chain so that people can develop their basic skills. Just to give you one quick example, in the A team, the national team, the Black Stars, for example, we always bring an athletic director or athletic coach, sorry, for the Black Stars all the time. And we bring an expert all the time. It's all because we don't have one in country. So that's another area whereby people can learn about it. But it's kind of funny when you want to hire a coach, They'll say, wait a minute, we have capable Ghanaians here who can do this. but at the end of the day, we know that if I was hiring a process engineer, nobody would be arguing with me. But I have 30 million coaches in country. Obviously, everybody has an opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. So let's open the floor for your thoughts, contributions. Just put your hand up, and we'll get a microphone over to you. And as much as possible, let's keep it brief so we'll get as many as we can into the space. But there's an example of a footballer and who has gone on to make so much money, not from playing football. Matthew Flamini, a former Arsenal player, is worth billions because when everybody was focused on football, Matthew was investing in a startup that was looking into clean energy. But you need complementary education to appreciate the opportunities when you see them, to even be able to spot them. So that's a very solid point you made there. Can we see by hand if there's a question? All right, okay, a lady right at the front.
Good evening. Just a quick one, really. It's with regards to...
Would love to know your name if you don't mind. Would love to know your name if you don't mind.
Yeah.
All right, Akosia, please talk to us.
Just a quick one. With regards to the jobs and the paradigms, we are of the old system, so to speak. So as young as we were given the soft skills in school. Ironically, we had this debate over the weekend. Now we have places of 2,000 girls or more. How are we, I don't know how you can assimilate. There's some skills, there's some icebreakers that we learned at school, or you had certain role models that you looked at. But with the system as we currently have, how do you tease out, how do you weave out? You're talking about confidence, you're talking about having the guts to almost even assert yourself. I mean, we're hit twice, as a black woman, as an African woman, as a Ghanaian woman. So I'm just really trying to ask. I don't think it's an easy terrain to sort of navigate currently. So how are you guys? Are we employing these schools? Are we taking this to the schools almost started there? Or how do you get these girls out? Because there is quite a gap. So for me, it sounds laudable. It sounds fantastic to sort of say, get out there, have the confidence, get the job. But it needs to come from a place when you're much younger, when you have the belief. You don't wait to be in your 40s to start thinking solar system. So how do you get somebody like me 30 years ago to come to a place like where you are now?
Great, that's a pretty good question. I think, Phyllis, we'll take 2 more questions, and then we'll go around for the answers. Do we have any more questions across the room? Okay, let's quickly take your response on this then.
All right, so I'm sure we could all contribute in our own small way, and I'll give my business as an example. Because myself and my co-partner, we are both lecturers. He is a lecturer in engineering, and I'm in public health. And we have students, we see them come out of school every time, and they say they don't have jobs. The job opportunities are asking for 5 years work experience, you should have this. And I understand why they do, because when I completed my master's degree, I was on the field, and I had community health volunteers. They could educate mothers better to breastfeed than I can do. So I know the essence of experiential learning. And so we have to deliberately create the opportunity for these people to develop these skills. So what we do in our business, we employ graduates, or I say young people, I should say. We do a lot of things that does not also require university degree or a college degree, because we do a lot of welding for our systems and all. So we deliberate and we write to most of the institutions asking for people to come and do internship with us. We have, as I talked to you, I have a student from Academic City University who is into biomedical engineering, but learning something in renewable energy, in solar, yes. So we reach out to the institutions, we reach out to people, and we give a quota even for young people. And even in education now in the university, because I'm more academic inclined, I'm inclined to talk about it. I know we have the quota system, where you are even, when you are applying for the same program with a male, with the same aggregate, you may be given a better opportunity. So I'm very sure that gradually we are trying to push young girls out there, and it also starts from our homes. We all have a role to play as mothers, as sisters, as fathers, as brothers. We all have to contribute to consciously making sure that our young people are getting all the confidence they need when they are taking a job or they are taking up a role. Like a girl is playing football and say, no, you don't have to play football. Football is a boys' game. You're a lady, a lady doesn't do that. All these things go a long way to affect how they behave in the future. So I think in our own small ways, we can all contribute to doing that. About how we assess, how do you see this in people, right? The question is, how do you tease us out of them? Or
yeah, but basically, how do we ensure that they're getting that at an earlier age than when they're fully, grown?
Okay. So I'm basically alluded to the fact our education system is not geared towards that. Not to know something in Ghana means you're stupid. So you always have to prepare in your head to make sure the answer is correct, because I dare not make a mistake. So you're teased and you're laughed at, and that literally scrapes away some smile and bring it to the fore. I don't know how you guys. I wouldn't want to be in your position.
Can I, Mark? Okay. I think from my own experience, it's more of mentorship in terms of mentoring people, and I can have several examples. I remember when I used to run a mine, there was this gentleman who used to teach my kids at home, and I never really want to get involved too much until we had to discuss the kids' exams or something. But the guy was so curious. I mean, he was on my tail every second. He was on me. I mean, I'm like, Elvis, please. So one day he told me, boss, I have an admission to Germany University to study environmental science, but you need to have an account in Germany for this. I said, no, I don't have any account. I was happy. Then he came back the next day, but boss, what do I do? Can you help me? I said, don't worry, I'll send you to the mine. And at that time, not even as an intern, just as an intern, go and do work there, and then, so I spoke to the manager for environment. This kid is coming, please. He's finished university, help him out, get some job to do. I don't know what will happen. The guy goes out there, he starts reading the environmental impact assessment book. This is a huge document this size. He reads everything, and they were giving him all the mundane jobs. Okay, go and take samples from the river and Cobra River, come bring it, do this. Little did they know that he was acquiring the knowledge, and all of a sudden he was a star. I mean, he wasn't even paid well. I had to fight them to get his salary. Do you know the story? The end of the story, let me get to the end. He had a full scholarship to Yale. to Yale University, and on top of his class, he graduated in environmental management. And long story short, a couple of days ago, he sent me a text that, boss, I just got manager for environmental something at Vail, one of the biggest mines in Canada, at corporate office, and he was thanking me for it. So some of these things, you just, first of all, they have to be the curiosity for, and they have to be encouraged. Maybe in any life, there's nothing wrong with a girl playing football. Go with your passion. There's so many things out there in the world. I was reading a book by Kent Robinson, Out of Our Minds, about the new solutions that are out there. In the next 20, 30 years, you're going to have about 60, 70% of the world population are going to be moving to the cities. So we need new solutions. So there's nothing wrong about expanding your mind. There's nothing wrong about learning something that you don't know. I think you made the point. Don't feel too comfortable to learn things you don't know. That's even better. It makes you a better person. And if you do that, you follow your curiosity, and if we as leaders look out and mentor them, at least we can guide them to the right path.
All right, so Aunt Stella, 30 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, because this is quite an important topic, and especially when the question is more outside of the classroom, to build the other skills, the confidence, communication, and all that. I mean, mentoring, obviously, is one of the key things. But as adults, let us remember that we are not mentoring them to clone them, to be us. We are mentoring them to find their unique selves so that they can be better versions of us or of themselves. But one key thing, again, is that we need to hold them, guide them, and try to, let them go on the path that we think maybe has worked for us. But a lot of young people feel, or a lot of us adults, we behave as if we were born adults. So we've never failed before. We've never done it wrong before. Nobody ever held our hands before. And that is artificial. People connect to real people. So the young people, we think they are young, but they are really smart. So when we are being artificial, they know. And so they don't even want to get close to even listen to you. But when they know that experientially you are telling them, look, I went on this path. It didn't really work for me. Maybe, you could, but, I mean, if I were you, these are the options, etc. So let's be real. Let's hold their hands, and then let's do it so they can see, and then we can get, this confidence. Give them opportunities. When there's a presentation, why do you always want to do it yourself? Why don't you, coach that person to go and do it? Let him or her slip a bit, but, just tap and say, the next time, this is where you went wrong. I think you could have done it better. And that is real, much more than, the pretentious behaviors of some adults that, we always got it right. Thank you.
Fantastic. Henry, final words from you.
Okay, so from the perspective of the youth or the young people, back when I was in high school, I went to Presec. When I was in Presec, I thought I was the most confident person on this planet. And I think we are not, in school, we are not taught how to deal with losses. And so we came out of Presec, first, second, third year, and then we came to meet as friends. And then you hear this guy working in Anglo Gold, this guy working here, and then I felt so invisible, like I felt so small. And so the confidence just disappeared. And I never had the urge to even get it back. I didn't care anymore until I was given the opportunity. So I believe opportunity and being prepared to deal with losses is what will make us the most confident people.
That's a fantastic point to end on, because the sport teaches you that life is a cycle of wins, losses, rebounds. And if you do not allow yourself to fail, learn, and try again, you get stuck. And more importantly, no single sport, even the single player sports, is played by only one person. So there's always the need for synergy, collaboration, and you're going to work with people you don't know, you don't understand their culture, but you each bring something to the table. And that's why I think Ubuntu Online Academy and Soccer for Dreamers is something that we ought to really embrace. And each one, teach one. I encourage my children to ask questions. If you meet my children, it is something I've ingrained in them. And I found the terminology, according to Malcolm Gladwell, as concerted development. that you're deliberate to get the child to be curious. Because if he's going to learn about physics or astrophysics, he's not going to learn that from me. But he has to have the curiosity and the confidence to talk to an astrophysicist if he meets them. But you will never know until you ask the person, what do you do? And so it's important. And I hope that we can all make a friend before we leave here. It's called accelerated serendipity. You have no idea what that will lead to. Thank you to Mark, Henry, Phyllis, and Stella, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Very inspiring, very educative. Picked up 1 or 2 lessons from there. Inshira, thank you very much for moderating. And thank you for our dignitaries who graced the occasion and gave us their expertise and their knowledge on the chosen subjects spoken about. For the younger generation here, I'm sure that this should be an opener for you in terms of what kind of opportunities lie out there for you and what kind of advantages you can derive from them as well. Once again, thank you very much. And thank you, Inshira, once again for moderating this for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue with the program. And at this stage, as you already know, Soccer for Dreamers is a concept that emanated from a family of 3 young, strong boys who love their game of football, put their heart into it, and realize that they can also support others to do the same. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you can put your hands together, I'd like to invite the president, Madame Sylvia Akwabua, to take the microphone and deliver her address. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that applause is free, and so we can do it better. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have some naughty girls in here, but I'll try not to look their way. But first of all, just step back so there's not much interference. First of all, I just want to say a very big thank you to all of you for coming. I know what it means in Accra to drive during rush hour. And it's especially on a Friday night. I know there are competing priorities, and you chose to be here. So thank you very much. When I had the idea of a launch, this is exactly what I dreamt of. We have a mixture of industries and the youth here. We have all sports here, from skateboarding, footballers, to Olympic cyclists, and I know we have judo, and of course our footballers. We have students from Laboni Secondary School. We have industry, we have business owners here. We have the corporate world, we have bankers, we have insurance people, we have lawyers, we have aid, we have telco, we have fintech. We have all sorts here, and this was the dream, because we needed to come together to have a conversation. The vision really for Ubuntu is, yes, we have the pilot going, but we need to build it together with local businesses. What is it that the local businesses need from the youth? Where are they lacking? We want to be able to provide that on the network. Where do the youth feel that they are lacking? What are the gaps that you think that maybe when you go job hunting that you feel like you fall short? We want to know. We are here to bridge the gap. And so I would like to appreciate all of you for coming and to say this is just the beginning. We are here to partner, whether you're here as an individual, as a business owner, or as a corporate. This is just the beginning, and we will be having further conversations with you. I am not going to talk for long. I'm going to keep it brief. And I will invite the boy's father, Peter, to do the partner appeal from now. But for now, I just want to say thank you. This is just the beginning. You will be hearing, you're laughing because I said the boy's father? Okay. His name is Peter Kwabo. I don't want to waste. I want to respect your time. So as soon as I've spoken, he will come along. But it's we just really want to partner from here on. And so if you can please put your hands together for Peter to do our partner appeal. Apparently, you're not the boy's father.
They're still trying to find out who their father is, but it's okay. So, there's two things that was said. Did you get a job? And by the way, the guy who said 64 interviews, I would say, well done. 64 is nothing. Trust me. 64 interviews, keep going. There's more to do. Look, I think I want to just take a moment to share a few stories around interviews and getting jobs and why this is important. Because in the job I do, whether it's here, whether it's in the US, I meet a number of people who come for interviews, and often by the time they come, I haven't read the CV. Because there's so many, you're trying to make a decision as quickly as possible. I'm sure people can resonate with that. And there's two things I see, and I see the same thing in Ghana, by the way. One thing we're never taught, exposure. And people come and they'll call and say, Uncle, hey, you come for interview, Uncle Pa, who from your uncle? Uncle, please, I want that job. And I will say, okay, how do I teach people to have an exposure to really think about the basics of coming for an interview, right? And that's so important. They will come and skills, technical skills, have not been to where it should be. So you look at it very quickly and you say, right, this is not where you want it to be. And so an opportunity for creating something like Ubuntu, which, by the way, should not be just a platform for putting content, but a platform for what I would call us as leaders contributing the streetwise of how to help the youth get interviews becomes important, because we were afforded some opportunities for us to be where we are. And the only way we do this is to pay back to the next generation, who, by the way, will be the ones who are taking our positions. So my pledge to all of you is our ability to support the youth coming through. Ubuntu is not something which we're doing. They're doing it not because they want to get money out of it, but this is something that they're doing because they believe that we have to support our system. We have to support the next generation. And ideally, we should not be doing this. The government really should be doing this as a franchise, because this is something that you want to encourage the next generation. If you look at Africa, Africa is projected to have the youngest population ever for the next generation coming. And if we can get something like this done, believe me, we can leapfrog what goes on in the US, Europe, and the rest, because we have some of the youngest population coming through. But the difference is that the exposure is very different when you're in the US, in the UK, and the rest. When you're here, the exposure is a problem. And we have to try and work through that and support that as we go along. Now, my pledge, I went to the GFA website, and I looked at the partnerships. All the big companies are there. There's about 25 partners on the GFA website. Even if 50% of that decided that they were going to support Ubuntu, they were going to pledge, they're going to use their capital, they have a CSR function, and decide that even they're going to put a little bit to support Ubuntu, that will go a long way. 50%, it's only 25 partners. By the way, they're all on there, from MTN all the way through to Guinness, and everybody's on that website as partners. So, Mark, where are you? Mark is in there somewhere. Mark, your GFA, your partnership if we can do that, that would be good, right? So the only two things I would say is the ability to partner from the organizations. And then the second thing I would say is that for us to move this forward, there's always an ability to pledge, particularly with the companies and individuals and so forth. So I'm not going to say too much other than if we can partner, great. If we can pledge to say, let's support this system, let's support this platform, that's great. And also, if you can decide that, look, you can also provide your own content, or you can have an ability to, because you've seen companies that work, and we can introduce us to those so we can get content. Whatever it is, all we want to do is use this platform to provide the best for our next generation who should be running this country one day. So with that, I would like to finish off with one joke, because I don't want that individual to be the one that sits in this room. And this is, today I'm going to use a banker, because I'm a banker. So last time I used this joke and I used an accountant, people, all the accountants came to me, so I'm going to use a banker. So there are 4 professions, 4 friends: a banker, a lawyer, an accountant, banker, a lawyer, an accountant, and an engineer. And the engineer passed away. So the 3 friends, the banker, the lawyer, and who was that? Who was the last one? Accountant. The banker, the lawyer, and accountant. They decided that they needed to do something for their friend. Okay? So they all decided that they're going to contribute money into the coffin, give them cash, they will close the coffin, and the person goes. So the lawyer wrote a check. Sorry, the lawyer put $10,000 cash into the coffin. Excellent. The next one is who? Accountant. Accountant then came and says, okay, I'm going to do better. So he puts $15,000 in the coffin. So now we have $25,000 cash in the coffin. The banker comes and says, okay, I will do better. So the banker takes the $25,000 and writes a check for $50,000 and puts it in the coffin and closes the coffin. We don't want the banker to be doing that. Pledges are good, but we want the cash to execute. So with that, let's try and help each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We can put our hands again together for the boy's dad. Ladies and gentlemen, Ubuntu is live. Ubuntu has come to stay. And I'm sure that would all love to, and especially in your spare times. As the chat was going on, I went around and I realized that, a few of us had gone online to see exactly what it was all about. That's encouraging. But the story shouldn't end here. It should go. It should spread. We need as many people as possible to get to know about this online platform, because it's beneficial to one and all. The interesting thing is that it's free. It's free. So it's an opportunity to add on to what you already know, what you already believe, and who knows, it could be beneficial in one way or the other. I had a chat with the young gentleman a couple of days ago, and you could feel it in their vibe. You could feel it in what they what they told me. That this is something that is their passion. They feel or believe or think that it is one of the ways they can also support. I'm happy that the vice president of the GFA is here, because they're partnering them in that regard, and they've given them the leverage to do exactly what they want to do. So Soccer for Dreamers has given us that enlightenment to believe that, yes, indeed, we can do a lot more. So it's a very big thanks to the dad, very big thanks to Auntie Sylvia, very big thanks to the young gentleman as well. Wonderful thought, wonderful brain, wonderful idea they have come to put together. I'm sure that we would all have a little piece of something to take back with us, so that we can also share that story when it comes to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gradually getting to the end of the program, and I'd like to humbly invite Jed. Jed, come join me here. Let's do a little bit of talking. Let's put our hands together for Jed. Jed Akwabwa. First time I met the two gentlemen, I asked, which one is taller? Then I saw the dad today. I'm not going to ask again. So it's now your turn to do a little bit of the talking. Over to you. Vote of thanks.
Thank you. And thank you all for coming tonight. And Proverbs 19:17 says, "Those who are gracious to the poor lend to the Lord, and the Lord will fully repay them." You have all been gracious today, and you have all been gracious today, and I hope you enjoyed the night. The Lord will bless you all in ways you cannot even begin to understand. I hope you all had a wonderful time, and I just want everybody to know, I am because we are. That's what Ubuntu means. As this is the end of the formalities for tonight, please feel free to enjoy some refreshments and some time to socialize. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Thank you very much, Jed. He's already said the vote of thanks, but it doesn't mean that we're sacking anybody from here. What we intend to do is that we will continue with the networking. Refreshments are served. And so let's take the opportunity, let's take the advantage. Special thanks to everyone who made it possible, because I know that we all have to drive through some form of traffic, one way or the other. But we're grateful, we're thankful to my
So today we came to Chebi in the eastern region. Six teams in the zonal competition are here. So we thought it was an ideal place to have, 6 teams from all over the country to be able to donate to them. And so we have donated to them soccer gear, we have given them boots, we have given them jerseys, we have given them some balls, we have given them shin guards to help them in their development of soccer. We also gave a menstrual cup talk on these donation drives. We make sure that we are combating menstrual poverty through giving them menstrual cups. We educate them and we give each girl a menstrual cup to make sure that menstrual poverty is not hindering anyone from achieving their dreams.
From media kujo, mobile house sports, me goalkeeper. Me safo bona oye din so, onye din me binu but am do oye din mam. Osande, oye din mam po a, isa mpita mo fo mebie. Training is sam na adi na ni na oye din, cause bi o mpede mo ko training. Na frenti muntu mo nko. Oye din ma so oye me yo. Ti isa no Ubuntu, dumedi na wada aba no. Ameji tumi de obobo hen pa. Because apart from training, many of you may be a come, many she. This is Sian Wabba, may I show the what to more warm. I must maybe look at curfew. I'm a dash of Marshall Bay. Let me be allowed for grammar.
My name is Vuvo Julian, the captain of Anglo Ladies from Volta region. I'm a defender. I left from the menstrual cup today because what they say about it will help me to save my money to do something else, because when I keep that menstrual cap and I use it for 10 good years, I hope that money that I used to buy sanitary pad, I will save it for something else. Through this Ubuntu online academy to help me to have some work in hands after I leave football, or if I'm inside playing football, I can still be doing that work to help me through their talk today. I thank Soccer for Dreamers and Ubuntu Academy Online.
Today we went to the Central Region We're expecting an exhibition with 4 teams. We're donating to 4 teams there. There will be a semi-final and a final. There's going to be a winner, a best player, best goal scorer, and best goalkeeper. So we're really looking forward to it, and it's going to be a great day.
The vision behind all this program that we have witnessed today has been good, and it's on point.